here I am. But yeah, I had long ago given up any hope of being a professional actor because I had just sort of given up on it. Very difficult business to get into. It's very difficult to stay in that business. It's very stressful. And I thought, that's not me. I mean, I enjoyed it, but as a profession, I'm not sure I could cut it. And I was 28 years old, and this is a few years ago, and I happened to know Christopher Bevan, voice actor, director, and writer, hell of a director of the Funimation. He and I became very close friends because we were both kind of mutual comic book nerds together. And I was aware of what he did for Funimation, dubbing anime, and I thought it was really, really cool because I'd always been an anime geek too. And I thought, oh, cool, bring stuff over and show me something he's working on. Really, really cool. I had never bugged him about trying to voice act because I didn't even think of it as a thing you could do. I just didn't. It was completely out of my paradigm of possibilities. And I'd known him for a couple of years, and then one afternoon, like a bolt out of the blue, he just called and said, hey, Tatum, said, hey, so I've got this show I'm working on right now, and I'm trying to get all the cast in place, and I've got everyone pretty much there, but there's one character I just can't find anyone for. Like, I know I've got a lot of good actors, but there's something missing from all of them, and I just want you. Do you want to come and audition? I mean, come on, it'll be a lark. And I'm like, no. Thank you, but no. And I didn't say no out of pride, like I'm above that. I was just terrified at the prospect of having to go in front of a mic. I've never done anything on mic before, all my experience on stage. And I thought, no, I can't do this. And when he described the role, and he described the series, which was Samurai 7, based on Akira Kurosawa's wonderful film, Samurai, which is one of my favorites of all time, I was even more intimidated, and I said, I can't. You're very awesome to ask, and I really appreciate it, but I haven't acted in like 10 years, and you would laugh at me, and I would suck. And why would I do that to myself? And he was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And this escalated over the period of about 2 weeks. He would call me every day, and he'd be like, so, I've got this show, and he would act like we hadn't had this conversation. And it would get to the point where I'd be like in the corner, like from the phone, like crying. And finally, he goes from being this really sweet, kind of nerdy guy that I adored to being a complete gangster about it. By like week 2, he's like, you're coming in if I have to hold you at gunpoint and to kidnap you and throw you in the trunk of the car. You're getting a little if your son will laugh at you and will never speak of it, and just do it. So I finally, and I mean, this was after excuse after excuse. Like, no, I can't. I gotta, I gotta strain cabbages today. My car has a black. Like, I will drive you. I will strain the cabbage myself. So I go in literally just to get him off my back. He was not going to ever let me live this down. And so I came in. Had no idea what to expect. He was like, just show up, here's the address, here's the time. I show up to this building, it's like a Sunday, no one else is there, so I'm like, this is a joke. Someone's playing a practical joke on me, like no one's here. Because he goes to the booth, he shows me the mic, he gives me the script, and he's teaching me. This is a 4-hour-long audition. Now those of you who have ever auditioned for like stage or anything else before, you generally have like a couple of minutes to make your impression before they bring out like the shepherd's hook. So I'm in here for 4 hours, and he's teaching me like how to match flaps through mouth movements. That's our technical term. Makes life so easy. I'm like, oh, nope, the flappage is bad. You say that the mouth movements just don't quite work. Bad flappage. I'm learning all this for the first time. I'm learning how to read dub script, which is technically very different than other kinds of scripts. I'm learning my technique, where to stand, how not to blow it out, because I'm sure these people wish I was using now. Stop eating the microphone. So I am in this book for 4 hours, and we're like matching class, and we're changing the voice, and he's directing the hell out of me, and I'm really having a good time, even though I'm terribly nervous about this. But the booths were kind of masked back then, so he couldn't see what I was doing. It wasn't him. It was just we would just talk through the microphone, through the headphones, and this goes on for 4 hours. And at the end of those 4 hours, I burst out of the booth, utterly convinced, even cocky, that I had sucked and wasted his time. And I'm like, ha! This is what you get. Next time, leave me alone. And I sit there, and he's signing me out, writing this whole little sheet. I don't know what he's doing. It's all this weird stuff. I've never done it before, so I have no idea. And I'm like, and I asked him, I'm like, out of curiosity, like, are you people like made of money? Like, how can you afford to audition like people for 4 hours? Like, how do you get anything done like that? And he was like, oh, we don't. The audition lasted 5 minutes. You've actually won the part the first 5 minutes. We've been actually recording the first 6 seconds. Just happened because I listened to them, and thank God, because that was right, but I never would have done it and I wouldn't become the actor I became, or I like to think that I became, if he hadn't been the one to introduce me into it. And so I'm always very grateful for his experience, that he just heard something in my voice that I didn't. And that's kind of, it's a very common thing. Dubbing is such a niche industry. A lot of people find their own serious ways to do it. But we all have weird stories like this. Like some people are like, oh, my plane crashed on the roof of Funimation. And survivor, and hey, Roof party, let's use you in this. It's kind of how it happens. It's very rarely that someone says, I am going to be a voice actor. Because, I mean, especially my generation, we still think of that as being a thing. Most people want to be an actor, and they think of the obvious, the stage acting and the screen acting and other things. You don't think of voice acting, but I found that voice acting is much more liberating than stage acting because I can do more with my voice than I can with my body. Convincing, in other words, I can play like a 17-year-old relatively convincingly in an anime. On stage, no one is going to buy me. Unless he has a pituitary disorder. But yeah, so that is, in a nutshell, that's like one of the shortest versions I've ever told of that story, by the way. How I got into it. So thanks for asking that question. Okay, I see a question. Are you standing up there?